The Mirror once called it the most disgustingly outrageous showboating in football history. And honestly, they weren't lying. What you just saw wasn't simple skill. It was humiliation dressed up as entertainment. Defenders froze, fans screamed, and everyone kept asking the same question. Are you sure he ain't Brazilian? This is the story of Yannick Bolasie, the kid who never stepped inside an academy, the man who went from $2 matches and free burgers to becoming the second most expensive African player of all time. Yannick didn't dream of football. His dream was rap. He only gave football a chance after watching a match on TV one day and thinking, why not? But 4 months into academy trials, he was bored. He gave up. Instead, he played in England's 8th tier, paid $2 per game, with a free burger for every goal. Soon, even that wasn't worth it. He planned to quit football entirely and become a carpenter. But fate had other ideas. Yannick's cousin was Lomana Lualua, a Premier League star. When a small Maltese club, Floriana, needed a replacement player, Bolasie got a trial. It worked. He signed, and while most players would spend their free time training, Bolasie was editing. Using skills he'd learned making rap videos, he cut together his own highlight reels and uploaded them to YouTube. Clubs across Europe started calling. Out of nowhere, he had offers. But he chose Plymouth Argyle back in England, closer to home. At Plymouth, they didn't trust him. Loan after loan, rejection after rejection. At one point, he was sent back to non-league football, basically amateur level. But then, Barnet gave him a chance, and one scout in the stands, an ex-Palace player turned agent, saw something different. He told Bolasie's family, I can make your son a Premier League player in 3 years. Soon, Plymouth collapsed financially. But by then, Bolasie had made enough of a name for himself. Bristol City snapped him up for just $10,000, the price of a used car. The assistant manager couldn't believe it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime steal, he said. And he was right. Within months, Bolasie was their Young Player of the Year. And bigger eyes were watching. Crystal Palace took the gamble. When Bolasie arrived, Palace were rock bottom of the championship. Fans expected relegation, but something clicked. With Wilfried Zaha on one wing and Bolasie on the other, defenders had nightmares. By October, Palace had gone from crisis to chasing promotion. That season, Bolasie made the championship team of the year. When Palace got promoted, Bolasie finally hit the Premier League. There was one issue: he couldn't shoot. He'd dribble past 3 defenders, then launch the ball into row Z. But it didn't matter. He was unplayable. He skinned Kyle Walker. He humiliated Glenn Johnson in the famous Kristen Bull comeback against Liverpool, when Palace came from 3-0 down to draw 3-3 and ruin Liverpool's title dreams. That night, the world finally noticed him. Bolasie wasn't just good. He was unpredictable. Roulettes, nutmegs, sombreros. He played like he was still on the street, and managers loved him for it. Alan Pardew once said, other clubs would have tried to change Bolasie. We let him be a maverick. That's why he's special. His first African Cup of Nations. In his debut, he scored the equalizer. In the quarter-final with DR Congo trailing 2-0, Bolasie dragged them back. He assisted the comeback and helped secure a bronze medal, Congo's best finish in nearly 50 years. He wasn't just a Premier League trickster anymore. He was a national hero. Back in England, against Sunderland, Alan Pardew tried something new. He moved Bolasie into the middle. The result? Pure chaos. In just 11 minutes, Bolasie scored a hat-trick, the fastest in Crystal Palace history, and the only one they'd ever had in the Premier League. The crowd chanted, "It's like watching Brazil." By 2016, Tottenham wanted him, but Everton paid a record $35 million. Palace's biggest ever sale. Everton's record signing, and Bolasie became the second most expensive African player of all time. At first, it worked. He clicked instantly with Romelu Lukaku. They even spoke Lingala on the pitch, so defenders couldn't understand them. But then, disaster. Against Manchester United, Bolasie tore his ACL and meniscus, almost a year out. When he returned, he wasn't the same. Everton rushed him. His knee was weak. New stars had taken his place. Loans followed. Sporting Lisbon, Aston Villa, Anderlecht, Turkey. His $35 million dream had turned into one of Everton's biggest disasters. Most players would have quit, but not Bolasie. At 33, he signed for Criciúma in Brazil, the home of flair, the perfect place for him. And just weeks in, the magic returned. Outrageous flicks, bicycle kicks, humiliating defenders. The crowd loved him. Once again, they chanted, "Are you sure you ain't Brazilian?" From $2 matches and free burgers to 35 million transfers. From YouTube highlight reels to Premier League history. From heartbreak to redemption in Brazil, Yannick Bolasie proved something incredible. You don't need an academy to make it. You don't need perfect stats to be remembered. Sometimes, all you need is flair, courage, and just a little bit of madness.